What if the part of you that sabotages everything isn't broken, just unheard? What if the version of you you've been trying to escape is the very one that's holding the key to your healing? Every human being carries two faces. One we proudly wear in public, the polished, composed, well-mannered self, and the other we bury. It's the version of you that flares up in rage, that secretly envies, that spirals into shame when no one's looking. We hide it, we deny it, we pretend it's not there. But it is, and it's watching. The shadow is not evil, it is simply hidden, and what's hidden runs your life from the dark. Carl Jung. You see, the most dangerous aspect of your shadow is not that it exists, but that it controls you without your awareness. When you lash out at someone you love for no clear reason, when you sabotage a good opportunity just when it's about to bloom, when you judge others harshly for traits you secretly see in yourself, that's your shadow speaking. And here's the twist. You think you're making choices, but if the shadow remains unseen, it's making them for you until you face this hidden self, the one that holds your pain, your fears, your unmet needs. You'll keep walking in circles, wondering why you can't break free. Let's pause here. Take a breath. Let this question echo inside you. What part of myself do I fear others seeing the most? That is the entrance. That's where the shadow lives. And most of us learned early on to close that door tight, because maybe, as a child, you were punished for crying too loudly, or told you were selfish for asking for what you needed, or scolded for being angry, for being too much, too emotional, too sensitive. So you adapted. You swallowed your truth. You learned to smile when you were in pain, to agree when you wanted to scream, to be pleasant when your soul was cracking. You didn't choose to disown your shadow, you were trained to. But here's the thing, the shadow doesn't disappear just because you stop looking. It simply goes underground and waits. It waits in your patterns, your habits, your relationships. It waits until you're ready to finally face yourself. Because real healing doesn't come from light alone. It begins in the moment you gather the courage to turn around and look directly into the mirror you've avoided the longest. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, why do I keep ruining the good things in my life? Why do I repeat the same painful patterns again and again? Why does it feel like something inside me doesn't want me to succeed or be happy? You're not broken. You're not cursed. But you may be at war with yourself. There is a silent tug of war happening inside you. One part of you wants to grow, evolve, reach your potential, but the other, your shadow, is terrified. Not because it wants to destroy you, but because it believes that growth might cost you your safety. And that belief didn't come from nowhere. It was shaped, often unconsciously, by moments when being your full self led to rejection, punishment, or pain. Let me show you how this works. A child who was shamed for expressing anger might grow up repressing it, becoming overly agreeable, avoiding conflict at all costs, but secretly boiling inside. A child who was ignored when they cried may learn to never ask for help, becoming independent to the point of isolation and calling it strength. A child told they were too much may shrink their dreams, mute their voice, and live small, just to feel loved. These wounded parts don't vanish as you age. They go underground. They become the voice in your head that whispers, "Don't speak up, you'll be judged. Don't get too close, they'll leave you. Don't try, you'll just fail again." They don't mean to hurt you, they're trying to protect you with outdated maps. But here's the truth: you can't build a new life if you're still protecting the child who got hurt in the old one. Shadow work isn't self-improvement, it's self-reclamation. It's meeting the parts of you that were exiled and bringing them home. And yes, it's uncomfortable, because to heal, you must first feel. You must allow those ancient fears to rise. You must allow the grief of everything you had to bury just to survive. It's messy, it's raw, and it's the most honest work you'll ever do. Because when you stop seeing your inner resistance as a flaw and start seeing it as a wound asking for compassion, everything begins to shift. You no longer sabotage. You listen. You no longer attack yourself. You ask, "What are you afraid will happen if I grow? What are you trying to protect me from?" And that's when the war begins to end. Not with victory, but with reunion. Because the parts of you you've been fighting, they were never enemies. They were children who wanted to feel safe, seen, and loved by you. You've been running from the chaos, from the pain, from that part of you that feels too loud, too ugly, too overwhelming to hold. But running never made it go away. It only made the voice quieter and more desperate. That voice, the one inside you that lashes out in anger, freezes in fear, doubts every step you take. That's not your enemy, it's your shadow, and it doesn't want to destroy you. It wants to be heard. The shadow doesn't speak in logic, it speaks in emotion. It doesn't knock politely, it storms in through the cracks. When you're most tired, most alone, most raw. So what if you stopped resisting it? What if, instead of silencing it, you turned inward and listened? When you feel envy, don't shut it down. Ask, what desire in me has been ignored for too long? When you feel rage, don't suppress it. Ask, what boundary was crossed that I didn't know how to name? When you feel shame, pause and ask, whose voice is this? Is it mine or something I inherited? Because every difficult emotion you feel is not a problem to be fixed. It's a messenger, a flashlight, a signpost pointing to a part of you that's been buried under years of survival, silence, and self-judgment. And that part is not evil. It's hurt, it's scared, it's still stuck in a moment where it didn't get what it needed. Let me tell you this. You don't heal by pushing that part away. You heal by welcoming it in. Try this, just once. The next time a storm brews inside you, Instead of numbing it, denying it, analyzing it, sit with it, close your eyes, breathe, and ask, what do you need from me right now? What are you trying to protect me from? You might be surprised, because beneath the chaos, the darkness, the resistance, there's a very young, very human voice whispering, see me, please, don't abandon me again. And when you finally listen, not to fix, not to correct, but to simply witness, something sacred happens. The shadow softens, and what once felt like a curse begins to feel like a key to your truth, a key to your freedom, a key to the wholeness you've been searching for in all the wrong places. There's a truth we all resist. You will never get rid of your shadow, because it is not a flaw, it is a part of you. And wholeness doesn't come from choosing only what's bright and beautiful. It comes from learning to sit with what's dark and difficult without turning away. We live in a world obsessed with positivity. Be happy, be grateful, be productive, be light. But real healing begins when you allow both, the gratitude and the grief, the strength and the softness, the clarity and the chaos. You don't become whole by deleting parts of yourself. You become whole by integrating them, by giving your shadow a name, a voice, a seat at the table, not so it can run the show, but so it no longer needs to sabotage it. Because here's the paradox. The more you try to fix your shadow, the louder it gets. The more you try to exile it, the more it pulls you into patterns that feel like fate. But the moment you turn toward it with compassion, something shifts. You begin to understand that anger can become your protector. That envy can point to your deepest desire. That shame can reveal where love was once withheld. Shadow work isn't the end of light. It's what makes the light honest. You don't lose your light by embracing your shadow. You expand it. You stop performing wholeness and start living it. You begin to walk through the world with less fear, because there's less of yourself you're hiding from. You no longer need to prove or perfect or please, because you're no longer abandoning parts of your truth to be loved. And one day, almost without noticing, you look in the mirror and realize, I'm not just the light, I'm not just the dark, I'm the one who holds them both. And that, right there, is power. You spent years trying to become someone better, trying to heal, to grow, to evolve. But maybe, just maybe, it's not about becoming more. Maybe it's about becoming whole. Not by erasing your shadow, but by learning to love it. The parts of you that you fear the most are often the parts that need your love the most. So tonight, instead of running, pause, light a candle, close your eyes, and whisper, I see you, I'm here, and I'm not going to abandon you again. If this message stirred something in you, if you're ready to meet your shadow, not with judgment, but with kindness, leave a comment below. I'm ready to meet my shadow. And if you found resonance in this journey, help others find it too. Like this video, subscribe to MROR, and share it with someone who might be hiding from a part of themselves. Because true light begins, not where the shadow ends, but where we finally choose to face it.